For most businesses, marketing is a complete waste of money. The same people who rely on word of mouth are the ones who have marketing completely backwards.
So if marketing is a waste of time, but you're not getting any calls, or you don't have any jobs, what are you supposed to do?
At that point, your only option is to The one mistake I see every business owner make when it comes to marketing is being afraid.
You ever mow?
Is this how we're starting the podcast?
Yeah, this is for that.
The molar.
What's up, yo?
What's up, man?
You like that intro?
It was good. It was real good.
That's like
we
normal.
We should start every podcast that way.
Yeah, that's kind of almost how we start the podcast.
It almost is. I feel like my chair is extra low today. And it's not. It's the same height that
It's just how you feel about it?
Yeah, maybe I'm not sitting in it right.
Yeah.
Dude, so it's good to be back in Florida.
Yeah, where were you? Africa?
Yeah. I like Africa.
You talk about it all the time. It's like your second favorite
No,
topic.
I was in Alaska for a couple weeks. Been back for what? A week now? Almost a week? No, Sunday I'll be back for a week.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell my story on the last podcast because we filmed one since I got back. Yeah, I got stuck in Dallas.
Oh, I didn't even know this.
Yes, I know. I was saving the story for the podcast
dude, a story
because
saver.
I was like, I almost called you to tell you my story because that's what I would normally do.
Yeah.
If I had a story, I would call you and be like, guess what, dude?
I'd be like, whoa.
And we would laugh about really dumb crap. And
I would vamp on the same joke
was like,
for like
you know
45 minutes.
I'm going to save this story for the podcast so the reaction we get and the thoughts we get are genuine. Because sometimes we will, tell a story.
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
and we
Jared.
retell it on the podcast like a bunch of doofuses, right?
Yeah, and I pretend to be like, whoa, Jared, really? Seriously?
Yeah, it's dumb. So for everybody watching on YouTube, this is genuine. And this is a genuine story. And I think it's a funny story. Okay, so I'm flying back from Fairbanks, Alaska.
First off,
And
like, how does that look? Did you leave red-eye? Did you?
so the only flight that leaves Fairbanks, not in the summertime. So like Fairbanks has a big tourism attraction, right? Get a ton of flights coming in the summer, not as many in the winter.
Right.
So they offer more options during the summer than they do during the winter.
Yeah, okay.
So during the winter, when it's technically still winter up there, it's not tourist season yet. The only option to leave is at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Is literally the only option.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
It's no fun. It's a really lame time to fly. anywhere.
Yes.
Especially when you're going to go on like a 12-hour, 15-hour journey.
Yeah, literally can't get out except for 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So 1 a.m. you leave, and then you fly to Seattle. It's like a 3.5-hour flight to Seattle. Typically, I have like a 3-hour layover in Seattle, and then it's like a 4-hour flight to Dallas. Typically, have a 3-hour layover in Dallas, and then you get to fly to Pensacola.
Okay.
That's typically how it works. And it turns out to be like 16 hours of traveling. You don't sleep hardly at all.
Nope.
You
get all
get into
screwed up.
Pensacola at
Time
like
zone change screws
between
you.
4 and 6 p.m., and you get here and you're exhausted, ready to go to bed. I made it to Dallas.
Okay.
This is going to be a short-lived story. I made it to Dallas, okay? I get to Dallas, and they're having bad weather,
Okay.
as Dallas does, apparently, I guess.
Is that what everybody was saying? Like everybody's like, oh,
So, like, I told a couple of people in our coaching program that I got stuck in Dallas, and some of them are from Dallas. And they're like, oh, yeah, we always have bad weather. So I get stuck in Dallas. Have you been in the Dallas airport?
I don't think so.
Dude, it is the worst airport, in my opinion. It sucks. Like, the food options suck. Getting around from gate to gate sucks.
Is it like an older airport? It hasn't been like renovated in a while.
There's parts of it that are nice, that are newer.
Is it under construction?
No. If you go to the D, anybody wants to know, go to D gates. Those are the nicest ones. They have the best food options. Everything's nicer over there.
Got it.
This is the way to go. Like, if you have to hang out in the Dallas airport, go to the D gates and hang out over there.
Gotcha.
And then go back to your other
I'm going
gate.
to take notes right now.
Okay. And if you go to the B gates, I've flown through Dallas quite a bit. If you go to the B gates, there's a little place called, it's like Plum something. You can get the organic cinnamon gummy bears.
Oh, yeah. Interesting that they're that they're in the airport.
Yeah. It's the only place I've seen them outside of. So we used to be able to we would go snowboarding in Fairbanks, and my family would always bring cinnamon gummy bears, but the store quit carrying them in Fairbanks.
Yeah.
And they're delicious.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can get them at the Dallas airport.
Interesting. Well, now I know where I'm going on my next vacay.
Dallas airport, gate B.
Just going there, coming right back, spending a week in the airport.
That would be miserable. Okay. So I get to Dallas.
Okay.
They shut down the entire airport.
Okay, so no flights coming in, no flights going out.
No flights coming in, no flights going out.
Tons of people just everywhere.
It was a madhouse.
Were people getting upset?
Yes.
Did you
And the
watch
line.
them? Yes.
The lines.
I know. Yep.
I was flying on American Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
The lines to get help at American Airlines were, no joke, a half a mile long.
Yeah.
And I was like, these people are going to wait for hours.
Yeah. Why
in those
didn't you
lines.
wait in the line?
So I've been in this situation before.
Sure.
And they shoot you a text that says, hey, your flight has been canceled. We're working on getting you rescheduled. Typically, within 30 minutes or so, they've got you rescheduled. And you've got your new flight itinerary.
Now,
right?
you might get rescheduled again, but
You might.
you're at least in the process of something is changing, something is happening.
And in my experience, they just take care of it, and then you figure out where your next flight is going out of, and maybe it's a little later than the one you had scheduled. And
and your connection is going to get weird, all that
you
kind of
get
stuff.
on the plane and you make it home, right?
Yeah, sure.
Not this time. So there was four flights coming into Pensacola. They canceled all of them.
Yep.
All canceled.
Okay.
So I'm waiting around. I get the text message that says, hey, we're working on getting you rescheduled. I'm like, cool. I'm probably going to be here for a little bit, so I'm going to go get some food. I had a terrible, it was a good, it tasted good. The meal was good from Fairbanks to Seattle.
Yeah.
It was Seattle to Dallas. I think it was Fairbanks to Seattle. I got a, man, I don't remember what flight it was on. Anyway, doesn't matter. One of those flights, I got an enchilada.
Yeah.
And it was a breakfast. That's what was weird. So for breakfast, I had an enchilada, some fruit, and a biscuit. And I was
That's an
like,
odd combo.
this is a weird combo.
Yeah, a
but,
biscuit and an enchilada is a weird thing.
yeah, but whatever. I'm down.
And that was on the plane, yeah?
I like enchiladas, dude. That
I
thing,
like biscuits.
that thing rocked my stomach hardcore,
It
dude.
did. Especially from what you were eating, because in Fairbanks, you were eating what?
Chicken.
Yeah.
That was chicken and beef.
Yeah, that's it,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
And
pretty
so then
much.
you suddenly you went from chicken and beef, meat for 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
To then fatty airline
Enchilada and a biscuit.
Yeah, gotcha. You went from ultra non-processed to like probably top shelf processed.
Probably. It was not a good, my stomach was gurgling, dude. It was terrible. Anyway, so I was like, I'm going to go get some food. Dallas has the worst food options. So I opted on Subway. I got the worst Subway sandwich I've ever had. There was like 2 pieces of meat on my sandwich,
man.
2 pieces of cheese, and a lot of mayonnaise. It was like a mayonnaise sandwich. It was funny, but I was hungry, so I ate it. Anyway, I was sitting there, and like an hour goes by, and I still haven't been rescheduled. And so I start going gate to gate to see who has the shortest line.
Yeah.
I'm at the D gates getting my Subway sandwich. Dude, the line there was absolutely insane. It had to be. It went like the D gates it's like a big corner.
Yeah.
And it went all the way down the corridor. It had to be a half mile long.
And the lines
At
are
least.
they're thick lines too. It's not like, because I've been in those lines like in Atlanta when it gets shut down, same thing.
Yeah.
And the Atlanta airport's a little different, but you can't even see the end of the concourse.
Yeah.
But the line is as far as the eye can see.
Yep.
And I would just sit, like Ayla and I got weathered in there once, and I just sat there and I'd watch the same people go from there to past me in maybe 4 hours.
Dude.
And I'm just chilling like, my thing is like, I don't know why these people are in this line.
I don't either.
Like, what are they trying to do? Maybe they're getting their money back. Maybe they're pissed.
I don't know.
I don't really know.
So I hop on the tram and I go to a gate that has American Airlines and I find a couple of them have really long lines, but I find one where there's like one dude in line. And I literally walked past a huge line of people, like 40 feet down.
Yeah.
There's one guy
Yeah.
standing in line.
Yeah.
So I stand behind him and I go talk to the guy. I'm there for like 5 minutes before I've seen the
That's
guy.
so funny. Huh.
And I almost went back and told all the other people in the other line, like, hey,
There's a line.
if you go down there, you can get service really quick.
Should have see the mass move?
Homeboy behind the desk tells me, okay, all the flights to Pensacola are booked for 5 days.
Oh.
I can't get you a guaranteed seat until day 6.
Holy moly.
And I'm like, I don't want to hang out in Dallas for 5 days.
Yeah.
He said, so your options are I can put you on standby. You can show up at the airport and you can go flight to flight to flight to flight to see if you get on.
Of course.
And I was like,
That does not sound like the Jared Williams way.
no way, dude. Hang out in the airport all day to maybe or maybe not get on a flight.
I grew up in the standby life. It is not that fun.
You did because your mom.
My dad was a pilot,
Yeah,
and so
that's
we
right.
flew standby pretty much my whole life growing up. It was a lot easier pre 9/11. And yeah, it would I remember being stuck in certain places, and back then you would dress up really nice because there's usually space in the business class or first class, and so you would get nice seats, but they would choose if you look nice, you'd get the seats or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember showing up to the airport, missing the flight, showing up to the airport, missing the flight, and then at some point we got on a flight because I think we just looked sad. The same gate agent had seen us day after day. We're just like, we're just trying to get home, sir. And then,
But it was free for your parents.
it was free. Yeah, they paid taxes on it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was free. But yeah, I have a lot of experience flying standby. It's not that fun
No, it's not fun at all.
unless you hanging out in airports. Then yes, it's the best, your best life.
Plus, there were 300 people on standby in front of me.
Yeah,
right?
it's not like it was when we did it where there's just pilots and their families.
Yeah.
In this context, it's all
There's
the people who are also trying to go wherever.
4 flights full.
Yeah.
So I tell the guy, sure, put me on the standby list. And I go to the rental car agency. Actually, I pulled up my phone. I rented a car online. The only place that had a car was the Dollar car rental. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
The Dollar?
Yep.
Yeah, they were the only ones. Everybody else was out of cars.
Probably because everybody got weathered in. They're like,
Dude, they
give
were.
me a car.
So I go to the Dollar. I go to the rental car center.
I'm surprised you even got one there.
I get to the Dollar thing, and the line is massive. And I'm like, no. It's not. I shouldn't say it's massive. There's 10 people, which to me,
That's not massive.
which to me is
but
massive.
to Jared, that's massive.
I got to wait 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I wait 40 minutes in line. I go up there. Dude, Dollar they have the worst customer service on planet Earth.
Well, you got to think of it in the context that they just probably had a really terrible day.
They probably did.
Yeah, those days like that suck for everybody. Nobody likes those days.
So I get my car, or we're walking out to my car, and they go, you can have the white one or the silver one. It's the only 2 cars they have left. It's 2 Mustangs. And I'm like, I got to drive in a Mustang? So I don't think cars are cool. I would much rather drive a minivan than get a Mustang, right? To me, driving a Mustang is slightly embarrassing.
How come?
I do not want to be seen driving a Mustang because when
Seen
I
by
see
who? By strangers? You're not going to know anybody.
True, but if I were to see myself in a Mustang, I'd be like, look at that douchebag. Why did he buy that dumb
But do
car?
you think when other people are driving Mustangs, do you think that of them?
Yes.
Okay, fair.
if you're listening to this and you own a Mustang, that's what I think of you.
That might be their dream car.
I don't care. You look like an
Get
idiot.
better dreams.
Yeah. It's like the dumbest car on the planet, right? And so I'm like, crap, I guess I just pick a color.
Yeah.
So I'm driving down the road from Dallas to Pensacola. It's a 10-hour drive. In a
I respect the choice. That's what I would have done.
in a white Mustang.
Oh, you chose the white one.
I chose the white
Interesting.
one.
would've
I don't
chose
like
the
silver. I don't like. There's 3 car colors that I hate with a passion.
Yeah.
You want to know what they are?
Yeah, I do.
Silver,
Okay.
red,
Okay.
and brown.
Brown.
Yes. If you have a brown vehicle, what's wrong with you?
I haven't really seen a lot of brown vehicles,
Ford has some brown trucks.
but they're like army brown. They're like cool brown.
There is no such thing
They're
as
like,
cool
dude, they're
brown.
like tactical brown.
Brown is not cool on anything except for furniture. Okay? You can't wear it. You can't put it on your car.
What about an old Studebaker with wooden panels down the side? It's kind of brown.
The wood is different. But a brown Studebaker, terrible.
Okay.
Brown vehicles, terrible.
Okay.
Red vehicles, I don't know why anybody buys a red vehicle.
To look awesome.
No, they don't look awesome. They look dumb.
look
It's like a dumb
fast.
color. And silver, it's like you couldn't decide what color you wanted, so you're like, oh, I guess I'll just get silver.
Yeah, but it's like a silver bullet,
Yeah.
Fast.
Looks dumb.
Kill vampires.
Super dumb. That's all personal preference. But
Yeah.
if you drive any of those 3 colors, I'm judging the crap out of you.
Yeah, but please stay subscribed to the channel. We appreciate
Yes, please.
you all. Yeah.
Even though I judge the crap out of your vehicle choice.
Okay, just get thick skin.
Okay, so I'm driving down the road. I made a stop in Tyler, Texas. I spent the night in Tyler,
This
Texas.
is why you even knew about Tyler, Texas. Gotcha.
Correct. I stayed the night in
was
Tyler,
wondering about
Texas.
that.
Got a hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel was nice. Tyler, Texas is nice.
Yeah.
I like it there. That's a nice spot.
What'd you like about it?
It's like a small town.
Okay.
It's only 2 hours outside of Dallas,
Okay.
and everything is just nice. I drove through a few of the neighborhoods, and they were all nice neighborhoods. Everybody had nice cars.
Did you see any nicely branded home service companies there?
I didn't see any. Stopped at the Starbucks. So when I'm traveling, Starbucks is my go-to because
Yeah, you know what you're getting.
you know it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's going to be good enough.
It's going to be good enough to not have a headache and to satisfy my coffee needs.
I've always been like, let's try this random coffee shop. It could be good. And
You go
9
in,
times out of 10, it's not.
And you
I'm
get
like,
garbage coffee,
yeah.
and then you got to go find another coffee shop.
you almost know right away too. You walk in and you see like the type of machine, and you're like, oh crap! Like, I'm at the McDonald's.
I look at the color of the coffee. If it's light brown, I just walk out the door.
Yeah, it's like this isn't.
Nope.
There's nothing here for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I go to Starbucks. People in there are super nice, and I was like, man, if I ever start up another company,
It's gonna be a Starbucks.
oh no, we might be in Tyler, Texas. Seems like a good spot to start one up. It's growing rapidly. So yeah, Tyler, Texas is nice. If anybody hasn't been there, you should go check it out. Good spot. Good little spot. I've always generally kind of just liked Texas. Every
I've
time
liked
I go
Texas,
there,
too.
I'm like, man, you know what? Texas is actually a pretty nice spot.
Yeah, I like it once you get out of Houston is a huge
I didn't even mind
crazy
Houston.
city. I mean, like driving wise and like sprawl, it's massive and all the
Yeah.
things. It's a big city, but every like small place that's gone when I've gone outside of Houston or outside of Austin into these small places, they're all very nice. I like they're spread out. I feel like there's lots of space.
I ran a race in Bandera, the Bandera 100K. It's like you're back in like cowboy land.
It is cowboy.
It's kinda
land.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like that Texas has lots of sidewalks. Like it seems to me like a pretty pedestrian friendly place.
Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Those are the things I look
The
for.
people are nice. That's all I know.
Oh, yeah.
And coming from Alaska, people are not nice in Alaska. Dude.
Well, especially if you're talking about like customer service.
Yeah, when you get down to like the southern states,
True.
people are so much nicer. They look at you when you pass them on the they look at you and say hello.
Yeah.
How you doing? I'd be walking in Fairbanks, and I forgot about this because I don't live there anymore. And people, you can literally stare them down, and their eyes never make contact with your eyes ever. It's like against the law.
Well, they don't want to talk to you.
You can be like this and be like, hey, and they're just walking by. Very strange. Come down here, everybody's like, hey, how are you?
You kind of have to look at somebody like,
Let me
hey,
help
how's
you
it going?
out.
You
Yeah.
need the nod.
Yeah. Nice people down here. Same with Texas. Okay. Here I am in this car that I think only douchebags drive. And people
Feeling really sad about yourself.
being like, I got to drive this dumb car. The only cool part about the car from the time I get in it is that it goes fast.
Yeah.
It's probably the most powerful car I've ever driven.
Yeah.
Because I don't drive nice cars, right? And so the ability to step on the gas and go from like going like 80 to 100 in a matter of a second.
And probably not
right?
feeling much of a difference in how the car is responding.
Right. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
right?
All right.
Okay.
It's okay.
So as I drive this car from Tyler, Texas, I don't really get much into it on the way to Tyler, Texas, because it was dark, it was raining.
Yeah, sure.
I was freaking tired.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to a hotel room and go to sleep. I wake up and I'm driving this car, and I spend 8 hours in it. And I develop a new appreciation, as much as I don't want to admit it. I develop a new appreciation, not necessarily for the Ford Mustang,
Yeah.
but for cars like that in general.
Cars that are built to go fast.
It's not even that. And so I'm sitting in this seat, right?
Oh, yes.
The Ford Mustang has an incredibly comfortable seat.
Dude, this is the way to Jared's heart with a car.
The seat?
Is just
Yeah.
the comfort setup within your vehicles.
The seat is comfortable. The adjustments on the seat are comfortable. The steering wheel didn't quite get low enough. Like I like my steering wheel almost on my knees,
Yeah.
so that I can put my hand on my knee and just kind of barely
Hold
touch
it with the fingers.
Yeah. But the telescoping steering wheel, so I can move my seat back, and my feet were like my feet were great.
Yeah.
I didn't feel cramped.
Yeah.
And then the back support, the adjustment in the back support, dude, I was like, okay, first off, I was like, this thing drives fast, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I need to pass somebody, I just
Easy
get around
peasy.
them.
Yep.
Then I'm sitting in the seat, I'm like, man, this is a pretty nice seat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I'm going to put on some music. And as I go to put on music, I have the realization that this is one of the quietest vehicles I have ever driven. The inside noise in that car is remarkable, how little you hear of the outside world. And I'm like, I really appreciate that. Like, this is actually really comfortable being in this car for as long as I am with this little noise.
Yeah.
So I go to put on my music. I've been listening to Reliant K a lot lately, so I put on Reliant K. What is the name of that album?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not a Reliant K.
I'm not a
guy.
Reliant K. I listen to like 5 bands, so
5 bands?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I listen to like 3.
Yeah, they just go back and forth.
So I'm listening to Reliant K, and I put it on, and it's an album I've listened to a lot. The sound quality in this Mustang was phenomenal. Mixed with the low road noise. You know how when you're typically driving and you have to turn up your music so loud that it hurts your ears because of the road noise of the vehicle?
Yeah.
Not the case. I have my music at a comfortable level, and I hear things that I haven't heard in the song before.
Sure.
I'm like, dang, man, this thing has some killer sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap, I like the way I like how fast it goes.
Man.
I like the seat. The sound is really nice. And then as I'm driving, I get a little more comfortable with the car. I cruise from Tyler, Texas to Pensacola, literally at like 100 miles an hour. And
You probably did you know you were going 100 miles an hour?
I did because I saw the speedometer, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, you just felt like you're going your normal 80.
The thing
85.
drives nice. It's a little stiff and bumpy
Sure, yeah.
when you get on like bumpy roads, but I imagine that's because it's fast and they needed to corner well. And the thing corners like a dream. I'm like, okay, I hate this car. I would never drive one, but I have a whole new appreciation for people that do.
Yeah.
I can no longer call them total douchebags.
Yeah.
If you are going on a road trip and it is just you, you're the only one, the Mustang is a viable option. And I would never say that in the past. You got room over here to put stuff. It drives fast. It drives nice. The seat is comfortable and the sound is good. You can't really ask for much more.
Dang.
Here's one ding on it, though. Well, there's 2 dings. Number 1, it looks dumb.
Sure, it does look dumb. I
Yeah,
agree.
It looks super dumb. Number 2, when I sit in the Mustang, there's a back seat. And I don't know why there's a back seat.
Because it's probably like this big.
Dude, my seat is on the back seat. There's probably an inch, maybe 2.
So it's really just to
Max.
put your duffel bag of cool guy stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get back there. So
Yeah,
you
you have
don't
to climb through the front. Yeah, you got to drop the seat.
So you don't want to put anything back there that you're like wanting to get to
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't want to put your gun back there because you
You have to be like, hey, I got to get out of the vehicle first and like pop the seat forward.
You'd be better off putting it in your trunk.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
Put a bigger gun in your trunk too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, drove it here. It was a nice vehicle.
Huh.
I enjoyed it.
You never thought.
I never thought.
Wow. It just takes a little airport cancellation to
I learned something new. So I think I'm just going to go, instead of renting cars that I like, I'm going to go rent cars that I hate.
and just see like what the hubbub is.
Yeah. Just try them out. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll try out like the Ford Bronco. Christelle loves those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Okay. Long story. What are we talking about today?
We're gonna be mainly focusing on why marketing sucks, or something like that, right?
Why your marketing doesn't work.
Yes.
And the gist of it is in order for marketing to work, right? There's so much more that has to be in place,
Well, okay. Well, like,
right? So we have all these guys that they have a business. And I think a lot of people like during COVID were like, oh, I can start a business, and call volume was good during COVID. They didn't have to advertise, right? And I think if you didn't do anything to hang on to your customers at that point,
oh, sure.
or you didn't advertise going out of COVID, you could be hurting right now, right? And so a lot of people are like, and advertising has gotten way more expensive, right? And so there's all these people who are trying to market their business now when it's really expensive.
Sure. So they're entering marketing at like the worst part.
Entering marketing at the worst part to enter marketing.
Yeah,
and then
everything's, you're right now, guys are trying to buy high.
And then they don't, on the back end, right? They don't have a business model that they can actually go market, right?
Yeah.
And it's especially bad now because the costs are so high of marketing. So, if you're trying, like, pay-per-click costs, like people who are running a legitimate business model, pay-per-click costs are getting out of hand. For somebody who doesn't have a good business model on the back end,
Sure.
pay-per-click costs are just untouchable.
Yeah.
Right? And that was a long pause. I was like, he's going to say something.
Yeah, and I was like,
something's going to come out of his mouth, and then it didn't. So thanks.
I let you down, Jared.
Yeah. You're my question guy.
I had a really good question. I just didn't want to ask it. I just want to let that point hang. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let it hang.
Let it hang.
Well, because I do have a question.
Yeah.
But you can answer it or we can answer it later. My question is like, what are going to be the main avenues that a marketing agency would use to make your phone ring?
It's typically like we would say, okay, let's get you set up on some sort of lead generation immediately, right?
Sure.
And so by lead generation, I mean like pay-per-click, GLSA, those kinds of things.
Something that you're paying money and then somebody is shown your business.
Right.
They have an option to then call you or whatever.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. That way it's like, okay, calls today. You pay money, you get calls now.
Yeah, which is what everybody wants. Like everybody who owns any kind of business wants to, I just need my phone to ring more consistently, ideally right now.
Yes.
Like that's the dream scenario.
Yep. And we've been so like lead heavy. So
Or even conditioned to expect that that's even reasonable.
Yeah, back in the day, nobody bought leads. There was no lead generation. Like the closest thing you could have to pay-per-click was the phone book.
Yeah, me and Benton, our sales guy, we've been talking about this because like trying to position an aha moment within marketing to like people who want to get into our program and they're not quite sure yet.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to like come up with this statement that gets them to like, oh, I see that. Pricing is pretty easy because you're like, hey man, like you're not making money right now. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, and you're like, if you use math, you'll make more money. And they're like, whoa, yeah, you're totally right. Like this is how you make money.
Yep.
Marketing is hard because
I like how you say marketing.
Marketing.
Now
who knows how I'm gonna say it. Marketing.
This is the politically correct way to say marketing.
Yeah. Well, not like that.
Marketing.
No, that was terrible.
No, that's how
Marketing.
Okay, whatever. It's a hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard. Like, because like what I want to tell guys is because they're like, man, like I just can't get my phone to ring. If I knew how to do that, then I would be able to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's not really true for the most part because there's a lot that requires you to take advantage of that phone ringing to actually have the dream outcome that you want.
Correct.
Which kind of goes into where what you're angling at is like you have to have a business that can support marketing to really take advantage and also afford real marketing.
Marketing
you like that?
Is hard. I used to think of marketing as we're gonna ruin the whole podcast.
I know.
Saying dumb crap. I used to view marketing as a black box.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you can just picture this black box. Whatever
we've
goes,
we've talked about this before.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever goes on in there happens in there. And it's magic, right? And I would put $1 in and I would get $2 out.
Yeah, and there's a little lever that if you needed to put more money in, then you could keep getting more money out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I've come to understand over the years of being a business that, because it kind of worked that way when I was the only plumber.
Sure, because you could just call your agency.
I knew if I got more phone calls, I make more money.
Yeah.
So money in, money out. Yeah. It was really like $1 in, $40 out.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's this magic thing.
Yeah. And I was like, this is great. Spend away.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
And so, and now I understand it as marketing is a black box still, but it's $1 in, a phone call out, or a form fill on my website out, or a booked online on my online scheduler, right? Or a message on Google My Business
Right.
or a message on Facebook, right? Or a text message to my company, right? All of the above. It can spit out all of those.
Yeah, lots of options. Yeah.
Which, if you do nothing with all of those, then you don't get any dollars out of your marketing box.
Or could you even say if you didn't even have all those options, then it's going to be harder to push that dollar through to come up with something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to meet the customer where they're at.
Sure.
But for the most part, like ours are phone calls, form fills on our websites.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Gotcha.
Some people schedule online through our GLSA, but not very many.
Gotcha.
Probably different in different parts of the world.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or different parts of the US, even different parts of the world. So once I understood it's not really money in, money out, it's money in, potential job out.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, sure.
somebody reaching out to my company.
Potential opportunity out.
And the better we are at taking that phone call or form fill and turning it into a booked job, and then taking that booked job and turning it into a sold job, and then turning that sold job into an invoice, and then into a satisfied customer,
Yeah.
and a 5-star review,
And a membership.
and a membership. That's really what makes the multiple dollars out,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, sure.
Because, and all those, and when I say an invoice, it has to be a profitable invoice.
Right. Yeah,
Like it can't be an invoice where you don't make any money.
Right. That doesn't work.
So what I just described is basically your entire business model,
Yeah.
right? For a residential service business, that's your whole business model. It's like, okay, like our two main priorities are we have to make money and we have to make happy customers. That's what we do, right? We buy and resell skilled labor and materials, and we turn it into profit and happy customers. You could squeeze members in there, right? We turn it into happy customers that become members.
Yeah, sure.
That would probably be a good idea. And that's really what fuels the machine
Right.
and allows us to put another dollar in the black box so we can get another phone call or another form fill.
Right.
So understanding that, right? When guys are spending on marketing and they don't have this business model or this machine on the other end, and they're getting spit out a phone call, but then they don't answer their phone, marketing doesn't work.
Right. And what's key about that is like it doesn't matter if you hired the best agency with the best proven track record.
Yeah.
Like
If they send you a phone call and you don't answer it,
yeah.
you're retarded.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
But yet this happens all the time.
Yeah.
And literally all you got to do is answer your phone or hire somebody to answer your phone.
Right.
If you have enough phone calls, you can hire somebody to answer your phone. On like next level, let's say you are answering your phone. Well, if you don't answer your phone in a way that leads to booked jobs, then you're throwing money out the door, right? You can answer your phone and run that phone call in 100 million different ways. And 99% of them are going to lower your booking rate.
Right. Yeah. Right.
The rate at which you can take a phone call and turn it into a booked job, right? A qualified phone call into a booked job. There's unqualified phone calls you should filter out.
Right. Of course.
So like in our company, we took our booking rate from 40%, it was atrocious, to now I believe my last CSR I looked for the last 30 days, she was at 86% booking rate.
Yeah.
We doubled our booking rate.
Is that booking rate on qualified prospects or is that just general? Okay.
Just qualified prospects.
Okay. So that's not a global booking rate. That's on qualified people.
Qualified
86% got booked.
86%.
Okay.
That is a huge increase in booking rate,
Sure.
which made my marketing funnel more efficient.
Right.
So
Yeah,
now when I put $1 in there and it gives me 2 phone calls, I'm not losing one of them. I'm booking both of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how you answer the phone matters. The things you say on the phone matters. How well you turn those phone calls into booked jobs matters. But then when you take it another step further, so you got the job booked, it's on the schedule. When you don't show up on time, or you don't communicate with the customer, or you send a technician out there that doesn't look professional, or you send a technician out there that doesn't serve the customer well, and you don't turn it into a sold job, right? You're wasting your marketing dollars again.
Right.
So, and even from there, like if, let's say you sell the job,
Sure.
whatever it is, well, could you have sold, I don't want to say it's sold more, but could you have given that customer a better service to where they bought more stuff and you made more money?
Yeah, like did you run the process of, we'll say, the sales call how it should be ran?
Do you have a process in place to make that happen?
Right. Even if it's just you yourself, do you have a process that you're either working on, thinking about, refining, perfecting, or are you just day to day, job to job, hoping things will work and your charisma will carry the day?
Yeah. You should be saying, okay, I'm paying for this phone call into my business. I need to make the best of it.
Right.
Let's develop a process to make the most money out of every phone call so that I don't need as many phone calls coming into my business. My marketing budget goes down and my profits go up, right? If you're not doing that, your black box is inefficient and you can make it more efficient by your process on the back end, right? Now, let's say you're making money, but your customers are pissed off and they never call you back.
Sure.
Now you have to, that's like probably the worst thing you can do.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's like anti-marketing.
Yeah, it is. It's because
Well,
now
it's marketing in the negative sense. It's still marketing, but now your marketing is saying that you actually suck.
well, not even that. Just you have to pay for a new customer every single time.
Oh yeah.
If you make these customers happy, right? You give them a really good service that they enjoy.
Sure.
And the thing here is like a lot of people equate, okay, my customers are going to be happy if I give them the cheapest price. And for some customers, that is true. But there is and those customers are really hard to make money with.
I would almost say impossible to make money with.
Really hard.
Yeah.
Because all they want is the cheapest price,
Sure.
which means you have to drive your cost down
Yeah.
to give them the cheapest price.
And you can be undercut at any time by anybody else.
By
who can do it
anybody.
cheaper.
Anybody. There's always going to be somebody that does it cheaper.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
So knowing that, my favorite type of customer to serve is the customer who wants a really good service. And they want somebody to come into their house, identify all of their problems, give them estimates for all of their stuff, and give them at least the decision to be able to fix things that they didn't even know were wrong. And they appreciate that as a customer. Okay. This is where a lot of plumbers get confused. They don't want to be salesmen going in the home, and I don't blame them. I don't want to be a salesman either.
Yeah.
None of my guys are what we would call salesmen.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge misunderstanding of what a salesman is to begin with.
Yeah. Also,
Like,
I think there's just a genuine like bad rap that salespeople get.
Yeah.
Because everybody in our modern mind attributes salesmen to like the used car salesman stereotype.
yeah,
And
who's
he's
like,
trying to sell you a really crappy car for as much money as possible. It's going to break on you.
yeah,
Like we just watched Matilda on reruns, and that's the idea of every
Correct.
salesman ever.
correct. And really, a salesman is somebody who goes into, like in this instance, like all of our guys are salesmen. They're selling techs. They sell their own work.
Yep.
So on a certain level, they're all salesmen,
Sure.
right?
If we just use that term without its baggage, of course.
Yeah, sure. Now, are they going in and being slimy salesmen?
Yeah,
No.
or predatory, or is like, and your systems aren't set up to encourage predation.
No. Can you be a predatory salesman in somebody's home? Yes, you can.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that boils down to the owner of the business and how he talks to his guys.
Yeah, and
right?
what values he pushes, and sort
Yep.
of the ambient, how he talks about customers too, and
Yep.
like all those things are really important.
Yep. And so your guys going into somebody's house, when they're in there giving the customer options, and it's a good, better, best, or a these things should probably get fixed right now. These things can wait. These things may cause you future problems. Or even if it's hey, here's all your problems. Here's what they would cost to fix one by one. If we bundle them all together and get them done today, here's what they would cost to fix today, right? That's good customer service. It's also sales.
Right.
And so rather than thinking of it as sales, think of it as offering good customer service.
Yeah.
If you come into my home and you identify a bunch of stuff that's going on in my home and then say, here's how much it would cost to fix all this stuff, what do you want to do? And you let me decide how I'm going to spend my money and repair my home, that's a good customer service.
Yeah, of course.
If you come in and tell me I have to fix all these things and make me feel like I have to pay you right now to fix all these things.
Yeah, or else something will be very, very terrible in your future. And
yeah, that is salesy and slimy and bad customer service.
Right.
Don't do that. But on the other side of that, if you come into my home and you're under my kitchen sink repairing a busted water line and you notice my drain line has a hole in it, but you don't say anything.
Yeah.
And you don't offer me options to fix that while you're under there.
Yeah, because you don't want to make it more expensive. You don't want to have that conversation again, whatever.
And
the
then 2 weeks
reasons are.
later, I got water leaking out my kitchen sink again.
Dude, yeah, you'd
Who am I mad at?
be very irritated at the plumber.
Yeah, I'd be like, why didn't you fix that while you were under there? I would have paid you extra.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want you here again.
No.
I had to take off work for this, or I had to do this, or like something. This wasn't like a planned thing I had in mind.
Correct. It's like the doctor like you go into the doctor and they're cutting you open to fix a broken bone, and they fix your broken bone and sew you back up, and 2 weeks later you're in there and they x-ray you and you got a tumor, and the doctor goes, oh yeah, I saw that when I had you open a couple weeks ago.
You know what I tell you? I don't want to upset you.
Yeah.
I figured you had enough going on.
I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of scenario. Bad customer service.
Yeah.
Okay. We just had to clear that up, you know?
Well, yeah, because the point is that like everybody's really, really quick to blame the marketing agency.
Yep.
And sometimes there's fair critiques that should be leveled at marketing agencies if they're doing weird things in their business model, for sure. But I think that it is, I guess, a lot of companies will blame the marketing agency and then they won't really look at their own business and notice where they're actually not performing how they need to perform. Like they're not capitalizing on the opportunity in these things. Like if you're a business owner, like it is your responsibility at the end of the day, regardless. It is your business. So yes, you can look at where another contractor, a marketing contractor, has failed you, but then you can't just be like, well, it's their fault 100%. None of it's my fault.
No, it's all your fault.
Yeah, it's your business.
Your business.
Yeah, you chose to hire the guy. You believed him when he said the thing. You didn't ask the questions that you should have asked. Like there's all these things that you could have done differently.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, so
I think there's a huge problem with people not taking ownership of what's going on in their business. And they don't want to take ownership because that means they're responsible. And they don't want to put in the time to understand all of the stuff and learn it to the point that they need to. And they just want to take that responsibility and push it off on somebody else, whether it's a marketing agency or whatever, so that now it's not my responsibility, it's theirs.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
In my opinion, right?
Sure.
Because when you're like, if I hired a marketing agency, I want to know what they're doing, and I want to understand how they're going about it, because I'm going to be over here researching and understanding my customers and my market, and I'm going to see results of what they're doing and what I'm getting, and I'm
comparing it with your data that you're getting through service.
And I'm going to go relay information to my marketing company of like, okay, so we tried this thing over here. You guys did this. We upped our budgets here. We ran this campaign. On my end, it's this, this, and this. I think my customers are thinking this. I think my business needs this.
Right.
And we are going to collaborate and get this thing done together.
Right.
Right. That's the kind of attitude you need to have.
Right.
Not, okay, it's their responsibility now.
I'm just going to wait by my phone and wait for it to ring.
Yeah. Silly.
And that's it. So, because this would be like the pushback, right? It'd be like, well, Jared, you can say that because you have all this time. Me, I'm busy. I ain't got no time to do none of this. I got jobs to do and stuff's going on.
If you don't have phone calls, you're not busy.
Well, I got stuff going on.
I understand. I understand that. So did I when I was doing that. I made it work. I guess, like practically speaking, like when I was in that situation, where I was working a lot. I was
Yeah.
busy and I
Yep.
wanted to grow my business. I would take Thursday mornings off. So I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
book anything till noon. I would wake up early and I would spend
Mm-hmm.
8 hours or 6 hours working on my business instead
Mm-hmm.
of in it.
Right.
So you just have to set aside that time to work on your business.
I kind of think that that's the most.
And
Go ahead.
on top of that, I was thinking about it nonstop.
Yeah, that is a Jared Williams trait.
Drove my wife nuts.
Yep.
Still does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought about it nonstop.
Yeah.
I dreamt about it in my sleep. I woke up thinking about it. I sat down and wrote in my journal about it. I thought about it all day when I was working. I thought about it during dinner, all the time. My brain never turned off
Yeah.
of growing my business. What is my business doing? How is my marketing working? How can we do this better? What's my next move? What's the best thing I can do at this moment to further the growth of my business?
Right.
If you're not thinking about it and you're just like, hey, marketing company, it's your responsibility. I'm just going to work. I just want to do the work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. And man, there's so many excuses that I've heard. And I think it comes down to this weird excuse that like, well, okay, this isn't what is said, but it's what's communicated. Is that the plumber I'm talking to, the plumbing business owner, what they say is, oh, I just don't understand that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
But what they're really saying is, I'm too stupid to figure out technology.
No, you're not.
And I'm like, dude, you're not. And like, whenever we bring people into our program, like I sit down with them and I talk to them, and like most people at that point, if they're coming into our program, they recognize that technology is a thing they have to sort of get acquainted with.
Yep.
And I look at them like, dude, you can do very complex things.
Yep.
Like you can go and repair very complex systems.
Yep.
A computer, technology, marketing is just a system that you just get used to by studying it, researching it, seeing what happens when you tweak this and this happens. It just requires your agreeing that it is time well spent, so you actually make the time for it.
Yep. We talked about this on our last podcast, but there's this magical thing, this resource that we have available to us today in this day and age that we haven't had until recently, where you can go and you can pretty much learn just about anything. And you might be on it right now. It's called YouTube,
Yeah.
right? I think we talked about it with
YouTube
spreadsheets.
University.
Spreadsheets, Google Sheets.
Oh man, yeah. Well, yeah.
Google, like just the Google products in general, especially Google Sheets, is a magical, amazing free tool that you have at your disposal. And if you're choosing to say, I'm not good on computers, or I'm just not very good at that, it's like, dude, get good at it. Business is on a computer.
Yeah.
That's how it is. If you don't like it, don't be in business.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't
Go work for someone else.
yeah, let them do all that stuff and then just do the work.
Yes.
Like if you're a plumber and you love the work, then maybe just go somewhere where you can make a lot of money doing the work.
Yes. Hands down.
Like,
do that.
But going into business, it requires you like learn all this new skill sets and being comfortable becoming uncomfortable.
Yep.
Learning these skill sets.
Yep. If you like learning, you don't like being a plumber, and you want to own a business and make more money, and you like business and you like the idea of bettering yourself, stay in business.
Yeah.
Go learn everything. Be the best you can be. You'll be successful.
Yeah.
Anybody else, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Just go back to work.
Yeah.
Just quit your business. Shut it down.
Yeah. It'll be better for you in the long run.
Way better.
Because then you can have vacations and
If
you
you're
won't make as much money. But
if you're a really good plumber and that's you, go to prospectorplumbing.com, now hiring, or it might be prospectorplumbing.com/hiring. You go to our main website and just click the hiring thing and apply to work for my company. We can pay you. If you're really good, you'll make $200,000 or $300,000 a year, guaranteed. Without having to own a business. All you got to do is work. That's it.
You just got to do a good
That's
job.
all
and
you got to
apply
do.
yourself.
That's it. Piece of cake.
Yeah. To some business owners, that would be the dream.
What?
Doing what you just suggested.
Working for somebody else making a couple $100,000 a year?
Yeah. Because there's
Yeah.
some who like, that's what they want their business to pay them.
Yeah.
But
you'll make a couple $100,000 a year. You'll have weekends off. You'll have insurance. You'll have 2 pension plans or 401k. Like, that's easy. If that's your goal as a business is to make $200K, unless you match that with freedom, go work somewhere else.
Yeah, sure. Unless
right?
you're making $200K, like working a couple hours per week or something, whatever the ratio is for you.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that's the case, you're going to have to be good at answering your phone,
Yeah.
running service calls, all that good stuff. You're probably going to have to know how to use a spreadsheet. You're going to have to set up some sort of software, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I want to also talk about the idea of like, because people will say this, right? And again, I was talking to our sales guy, Benton, and sometimes people don't get into our program because they're like, I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
And what I've come to understand is that, like, really, and you know, our buddy Eric will say this, and we talk about this, but like,
I was just thinking about
you
that.
only have time for the things that you make time for. Like, we're under this, this idea that my day fills up and I have to do everything that's set before me. I would say that you don't have to do anything.
Dude,
Like, there's consequences to that, but I literally don't have to do anything. I don't have to get out of bed. I don't have to talk to my kids. I don't have to pay my taxes. I don't have to do anything. There's consequences with all those things, sure, but I don't have to, right?
True. You choose to.
I choose
because you
to.
don't like the consequences.
Well, either because I don't like the consequences or I prefer the benefits.
Yes.
And I think looking at things like from the idea that like, if you're saying, well, Jared, I don't have time to go on YouTube and like learn stuff. It's like, well, you haven't made the time to do it.
That phrase used to piss me off when he would say that. I'm not going to lie.
Why would it piss you off? Like, what about
because I felt like my whole existence has been a battle with time.
Sure, because you've been trying to get more of it the whole time, and you don't feel like it's in your control.
So I'm getting a lot better at it. But when people say they don't have time for that and they're busy, it's because they're freaking busy, dude. And it's like, to me, and this is an argument I have with my wife all the time. We talk about this a lot because she wants me to make more time for other things. And I'm like, I only have so much time in the day.
Right.
And I have stuff that has to get done. And for me, sometimes to make time for other things, in the past, I was like, I don't have the time to make the time.
Yeah, sure.
Like how
everything is capped out. There's no little wiggle room in between.
And so if you were to tell me, hey, you only have time for what you make time for, I'd be like, come make time in my schedule.
Yeah, come look at my schedule.
Yeah. The reality is, and this is something that I've had to learn over the last couple of years because I've had things that I don't have time to do, but they need to get done still.
Sure.
And so what do I do? I have to prioritize.
Sure.
And what gets done gets done. And if there's stuff that doesn't get done that should be getting done, that means I need to hire somebody to get those other things done. And it's a weird shift to go from plumber working in the field to business owner with limited time and a gazillion things that need to get done and learning how to prioritize them and make time for the ones that matter the most. And then if there's stuff that's really important that's not getting done, well, my business model better be good enough to be bringing in enough cash to be able to hire somebody to get these other things done so that I can continue to grow my business. It's a whole different way of thinking, right? And that just applies to business. When it comes to like exercising or preparing good food for yourself, you have to make time for all of those things. Like I've been okay at business-wise, I've been okay at recognizing I don't have time for this. I need to hire somebody.
How about this? Would you be okay at recognizing high leverage opportunities and understanding how they rank, like in what you decide you need to do? Because I think the key is like,
it's tough, man.
Like you have to look at all the things that you have to do, and you have to always be like, okay, where is the leverage that I need to apply the most amount of time that will actually give me the biggest return on my time investment?
It's usually what you're lacking in that drives that decision. So, because a lot of people make the wrong decision, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be fresh in business. They're like, I need software and I need a price book.
Yeah, they buy a bunch of tools
and I need a new van. And well, I would agree, go get a new van. I need to hire guys, right?
Yeah, that one.
And they skip over like, I actually just need to go make some cash.
Yeah.
So I don't have any money.
Yeah, I need to stack cash and maybe be content with stacking cash for a little bit.
Yeah. So what am I lacking the most right now? It's cash. Okay. How? And then you have to ask yourself, what is the thing that I can do that will allow me to do the thing that I lack
Yep.
to the most extent? Not necessarily grow my business, but right now I just need cash.
Yep.
And this is your problem for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you just need cash.
Yeah.
You should always be chasing the cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And typically it's like, okay, people need to know who I am so they can call me.
Yep.
Like in the beginning, the very beginning, it's like, well, I need a phone and I need a way to do the work and I need the licensing. And so I got to go get this stuff so that I can go get the cash. I think if you reframe it that way, it'll help out a lot. So rather than, because there's always 10 million things you can do.
Yes.
It's
Lots of stuff we can do.
and this is typically like, it's typically the entrepreneurial seizure, right? And I say this a lot. You see the light at the end of the tunnel, and to you, it's like, oh, I just have these.
We just have to do this.
We just have to do these few things, and I can get there.
Yeah.
Those few things always take longer.
Yes.
It's always really annoying.
Yes.
It's always super frustrating. It's never as easy as you think. And because if you thought it was harder, you probably wouldn't have done it in the first place.
And if it was truly that easy, then everybody would be doing it. And it wouldn't be as cool as...
And it wouldn't be as profitable.
Yeah.
So identifying what you lack is probably the best way to go about it. Like, what are we lacking?
Oh, sure.
What's the thing we need the most to grow this business?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure.
And it gets harder.
Yeah,
as you go.
Because the limiting constraints that you identify are pretty obvious at the beginning, but then once you start to grow, you still need to find the limiting constraints, but maybe they get a little bit more nuanced. Like they could be in like your CSR booking rate KPI.
Yeah.
Or they could be in these other little metrics that you're not quite paying attention to yet that you have to sort of draw out and understand.
Yeah. I was talking with my general manager today about kind of this topic. Like we were trying to figure out like, okay, what are the things that we're lacking right now? And it's like, we've grown our business from nothing to over 5 million a year in sales. And we've got that pretty well dialed in. We've got a rock solid business up there. But if we wanted to take it to 10 million, what are the things that we need to do to get to 10 million? And he brought up the point, like we listened to like Tommy Mello and all of those guys and hear them say like all the time, what got you to 5 million isn't going to get you to 10 million. Right. And so the systems and the processes and the positions and the marketing and the people and everything that we have in the business right now aren't necessarily the same things that like we can't do more of that to get to 10 million. There's other stuff we have to tack on there. And it's like, well, what are we lacking? And so we can identify like a few things that we're lacking and then we can implement new systems and hire new people and new positions to fill that lack so that we can grow to the next level. It's hard to think about sometimes. And the more you get going on, the harder it is to think about.
Yeah. I think as an exercise too, that we should always be running in our own lives. Because it's like we all, I think, lack things in our own lives outside of business that we just don't think about and so we don't fix.
No,
I know, right?
I'm perfect.
I know you're perfect. I'm speaking to the audience, not to you. I know.
No, dude, there's so much stuff I lack. Like, it's funny to me because, and I say this a lot, but when growing the business required a lot of growing up just personally, as a person, I had to grow up, and I still am growing up outside of business. And those, like me personally growing up, are the things that have made the most impact on my business.
Yeah.
Right. And like even now, it's like I'm calling myself almost 40. Well, pretty much 40.
Yeah.
Is that how I put it the other day?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty much 40.
Yeah, pretty much.
So from the time I hit 38, when I turned 38, I was like, I'm pretty much 40.
Yeah, you're pretty much there. Like 2 years.
Yeah.
8's always round to 10 really nice.
So if somebody asks me how old are you, I'm like, pretty much 40.
Yeah.
I don't say 38.
Yeah.
So
are you 38 or are you 39?
I just turned 39.
Oh.
You know what's awesome? I have a fake birthday on Facebook.
Gosh. Got me once. You laughed at me for
Dude,
it.
I got my own mother.
She
She wished me happy birthday. And awesome. She, to this day, she will not admit that she was genuinely
Yeah, of
wishing
course.
me
Well, she
happy
doesn't want
birthday.
to. What mom's going to admit that?
I'm like, Mom, You didn't even know it wasn't my real birthday.
You opened your Facebook. You're like, oh, it's Jared's birthday. And
She had no idea.
Yeah.
Now, if my dad did that, he doesn't know what my birthday is, so I would expect that.
Moms know. Dads.
Yeah, my mom, that's disrespectful.
I know my kids have a birthday somewhere in the year.
Okay.
Give or take.
So nobody ever knows when my birthday is, which is rad.
Except for my wife.
Except for your wife. For some reason, she remembers.
Well, because you intentionally tried
But
to
she didn't
deceive
call
her.
me on my birthday today. Or not today. Last few weeks ago.
You were busy.
We were in, when I was in Alaska, our new CSR said, Jared, when's your birthday? And I said, it's top secret. I'm not telling you.
Yeah, holds it close to the chest.
I don't know what she did. She like Googled it or something. She was like, I know when it is. And I was like, oh yeah, when is it? She goes, November 5th. November 5th is not my birthday.
It's the fake birthday.
And I said, man, no, it's not. It's not even my Facebook birthday.
Oh.
I don't know where she got that number from.
Interesting.
I told her, man.
Well, you changed it a couple times on Facebook. Because I remember
That's the problem. It won't let me change it.
Yeah, it won't let it change anymore. So you're locked into whatever your
stuck.
birthday
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So I told her, I don't know how you found that out, but that's my birthday.
I bet she felt so proud.
And it was like 2 days before my real birthday
Yeah.
that this interaction happened.
Yeah.
It was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I was sitting back there with my GM, and he knows my real birthday, and he's dying.
Yeah,
he was
just
dying
like,
laughing.
He's just like, you just let that poor lady think that she like, I know Jared's birthday.
Yeah. I'll tell her someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
Or she'll listen to this podcast.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Yeah. She does. Now you know that's not my real birthday.
Yeah, you still don't know what his birthday is, but you know that's not his real birthday.
Perfect.
And that's how to be a good boss.
She'll know roughly when it is, though, if she listens to this podcast. Yeah, it'll be a good one. I don't remember what we were talking about before that. Dude, here's the thing.
You're almost 40. No, this
if
is
a total
what it is.
doofus who can't even come up with his real birthday on Facebook can grow a decent business, everybody who's watching this can as well or listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your point was you're almost 40, but in order to have a successful business, you have to work on yourself a lot. And there's things in your life that you still have to work on.
Yeah. So now that I'm like really almost 40, I'm 39. I'm working on my 40th year
That's
of life.
The proper way to
right
phrase it.
now. I'm 39 years and a few months in, right?
Working on your 40th.
Working on my 40th. That's another thing me and my wife argue about.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite arguments to participate in because it's just fun, you know?
Well, you can pick a side and it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
Because they're both right.
Yeah, but everybody will argue tooth and nail about it.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So I'm almost 40. I'm basically 40, pretty much 40. It's like there's, when I was 20, in my 20s, even early 30s, like I would run a lot. I would go do things, and exercise wasn't really something that I had to do.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Now that I'm almost 40, it's a little bit of a different story. And especially now that it's like, okay, all my work is sitting down, staring at a computer screen, mainly spreadsheets, or watching YouTube on how to use the spreadsheet, right? How to make this pivot table do its thing.
Yeah, what is it?
Did you ever look up pivot tables? Did I tell you to do that?
I was watching a guy who was showing, he had an accent, so he called it a pivot table.
A pivot table.
Yeah, and I was like, this guy's trying to say pivot.
I like
and then I
that.
was like, is it not pivot? Like, oh crap. If I go talk about pivot tables with a real spreadsheeter, he'll be like, it's pivot.
It's pivot,
I'll
man.
be like, what the?
Yeah.
I don't know how to use them though. I know that they're a thing.
If you want to have your mind blown, go look up what a pivot table is.
Dude, I'm putting on my to-do right now.
I don't remember what it is, but I remember my mind was blown.
That's how you know it was a thing to come back to.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm, things like exercise. I have to make time for that now.
Yeah, and you really do
I have to, or else I'm screwed. I'll go downhill fast.
Yeah.
And at 40, or pretty much 40, it starts going downhill much faster than it used to.
Your scale said you were obese.
Dude, it did.
Yeah. It called me slightly fat.
I lost 6.5 pounds. I don't even know where it came from.
Do you notice like no difference? You lost 6.5 pounds and you're like,
So
still feeling the same?
when I flew to Fairbanks last, I was like, I eat healthy, but I've never counted my calories. I've never had to. I've never even had good luck trying to count my calories.
Sure.
So, and my GM was just like, I was talking about what he was doing. He has gone from like, I don't know how big he was. You can go scroll through these episodes and he's on this podcast sitting in your chair.
Yep.
He is now he used to be big,
Yeah.
and he is now thin and fit and trim.
Yeah.
It's been a long
It's probably
process.
like 4 or 5 years at least.
Yeah.
Because it was
Yes.
pre him working with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember. Yeah. Yep. I remember.
The difference has been amazing.
Yeah.
Drastic. I'm like, and even just since he's in the last year, like he's become more cut and more muscly and more fit.
Honestly, because I think he's gotten better at spreadsheeting.
I think so too. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Because
that
tracks-
sounds like a joke, but it's not.
he literally tracks all of his habits, all of his eating, everything on
And
a
it really
spreadsheet.
helps him.
Yes. He's he's that kind of guy.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, dude, what are you doing? Like, I am gaining some extra body weight.
The scale called me obese.
The scale told me I was obese. My pant size was a 36. I used to
Damn,
be
a 36?
well, I don't like tight pants either.
That's a waist, though. That's not even
tight in
like
the waist.
legs. That's
I don't like tight in the waist. Drives me nuts. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, I count my calories and I make sure I get enough protein in and I exercise. I'm like, okay, how much protein do I need? He's like, your body weight. And I was like, I just crossed 204 pounds. I've been working out quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I went from like 190 to 204.
Yeah.
Not fat, just muscle.
Yeah.
So I gained a lot of muscle. You would never guess it because I'm still tiny. I think I gained it all on my left leg because I broke my
Actually,
left leg.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And it's almost back to normal now. So I gained a bit in my shoulders too. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to count my calories and get enough protein. Dude, that boils down to like eating chicken. Like for me to get enough protein and stay like 200 calories under my daily needs,
Yeah.
I ate 3 chicken sausages and 2 boiled eggs for lunch. And I ate a pound of chicken breast with like 3 slices of cheese for dinner. And I did this for a week. 1 week, literally 6 days, not even a full 7. I lost 6 pounds.
Wow. Just by taking, and you probably weren't burning as many. My guess is you probably don't burn as many calories as you think you do.
As I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, you're probably thinking an old Jared when Jared was a calorie burning machine.
Yeah.
And now you've lived since you've gotten out of the truck, you could even say a relatively sedentary work life.
Yeah.
And that's most of your time is working.
Yeah.
So your calorie burn is probably a lot lower than you think.
Yeah, totally.
But meanwhile, you were probably eating like 2,500 calories.
Dude, I could eat 10,000 calories a day, no problem.
Yeah.
I could eat it. It wouldn't even faze me. I wouldn't even feel full. I would just eat it. I'd be like,
Just
this
be
is
there.
good."
You're like, "Oh, doop, doop, doop."
Yeah. I don't know why. I missed my calling. I could have been a professional eater.
Dude, yeah.
Instead, here I am on
There's
a
the pivot.
podcast
There's the
about-
pivot.
Dude, give me a couple weeks. We're pivoting.
Competitive eating. Not even
Competitive
competitive eating,
eating.
just podcast eating.
That's actually a good idea. We
You
should
eat on the
just-
podcast and I'll talk to you. I'll say, how's
just,
it going?
How much can a Jared
Yeah.
inhale
Are you going to eat that?
and still hold a conversation
Yeah.
with Joel? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one. We could call it, Are You Going to Eat That?
Dude.
That'd be so
Man.
good. Man.
Morgan, when you're editing this, take some notes.
We come
so
up
we
with
can
some of
remember
the
this.
best ideas.
Dude, our audience
Okay.
knows it too.
So I lose 6 pounds. I had to go buy new pants. I only had 1 pair of pants with me.
Of course.
I packed like 1 pair of pants and like 3 shirts. That's how I roll. And I had to go buy new pants because my pants were massive. And I was like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
It was funny. Anyway, that stuff is hard.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, 'cause-
counting my calories?
yeah, there's identifying
And
your
then-
limiting constraints and doing something about them. Even if what you
And
are
then the
doing about them-
discipline.
yeah.
Like, so in this, I had to, number one, come to the like realization, like, Jared, you're getting older. You're not young, spry Jared anymore. You need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And then finally deciding, okay, I hate counting calories
Yeah.
or thinking about food. I just want to put it in my mouth and
Yeah.
like be done with it.
And feel good and then go back to whatever you're doing.
Yes. I really just want to work all day.
Yeah.
And so having to like think about food and
Yeah, pain in the
exercise,
butt.
it's just like
Think
something,
your son's the same way.
something I don't want to think about. So, and then developing the discipline. So I had to go to the grocery store.
Oh,
Dude, I never go to the grocery store.
man.
You always go to the grocery store. You're
Yeah,
like
I don't-
grocery store king.
I don't mind shopping. Doesn't bother
I
me.
hate it.
I bring all my kids.
I hate it because you got to drive there.
Yeah, I don't
You got to
care.
think about what you're going to eat. before you go there. You got to buy.
That part is hard.
You got to get stuff. Then you got to come home. And you got to put it in your fridge, and then you actually have to like prepare the meals that you planned on, or
That's
you're
the hard
just
part.
wasting all your money.
Yep.
So I went to the grocery store, and that's why I just kept it as simple as possible. I ate 3 sausages and a pound of chicken and 2 eggs and 3 slices of cheese. And then I stuck with that for 6 days. I had to develop a little bit of discipline, which I'm finding it pretty much 40. I'm not a very disciplined person.
Yeah.
And there's just lots of growth and things that need to happen.
Yeah.
But those, I get, the moral of the story is like those things that I suck at in my personal life, those are the same things that hold me back in my business life.
How does sucking at counting calories hold you back in your business life?
Dude, I have been we'll call it a dreamer, right?
Visionary.
So I don't like that word, but whatever.
What you got against a word? It's a good word.
I don't know. Visionary entails somebody who has like these great ideas in my mind.
Sure.
Right? Not my ideas. I have lots of ideas. Very few of them are good ideas. But so for me, like if you were to go on my computer and see my organizational skills, they're terrible. I'm not good at being organized. I hate being organized. So like the idea of like having to figure out what I'm going to eat and actually do the thing.
Sure, yeah.
Keep the food in the fridge and stay organized. And I hate it. It's terrible. I don't want to do that. I just want somebody to make food for me and I can put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
So learning these things in my personal life directly translates to your business life. I now understand like, man, I should probably be a little more disciplined with what I do in business life. I'm making myself sound like I'm terrible, but
I think
there are areas despite, I've been fairly successful.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But despite that, there's still areas that I'm terrible at that if I would work on would help me out a lot, a lot. Sometimes you don't realize those until you're working on things in your personal life. And you go, dang, I'm just having the realization I'm not very disciplined. I'm more of a kind of just a put my head down and work and get stuff done kind of guy.
See, I would perceive you as somebody who is pretty disciplined.
See, but I'm not.
Like,
I'm really disciplined at one thing.
What's that?
If I want to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I like business.
Sure.
I like working on my company. I like thinking about it.
Sure. You like accomplishing the things that drive the company to get down the road.
I like accomplishing things.
You
and
like
getting stuff
actionable
done.
items. So if I give you a list of actionables and I say, Jared, I need this done, you'll knock it out faster than most people.
Yeah, because it's fun. I like it. I think it's rad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want me to stick to a exercise routine every single day,
yeah, you stuck to the same exercise routine for like 6 months now.
that was freaking hard.
Yeah.
I hated every second of it.
Yeah, but you did it. That's the thing is you did it even though you hated it.
Correct.
I think your wife was a big part of it because she was like, Jared,
you have to do this or I'm going to murder you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a direct quote. Yep.
It's not far off. It's like, you're looking almost 40.
Yeah.
It's
the scale's obese. It says you're obese. You're getting older. You got to do something.
Yeah. Cool, huh?
I mean, it is cool.
So anybody who's younger, this is what you got. This is what you got to look forward to.
You might as well cultivate it now if you're younger. Like if you're listening to this and you're younger and you're listening to like the people around the personal development side, there's a lot of.
Okay, here's the problem though. There's like, I realize I lack these things and they'll help me in my business. And at the same time, as I get older, I start to care less about things or realize certain things just don't really matter as much as I thought they did. So we both have a buddy, Eric Gettinger, and his, actually even Alex Bourne, our neighbor, and his dad, Alex's dad. I remember I was at his house one time and he built a new greenhouse for his wife. And He built it out of just regular 2x4s. And it's sitting in the dirt, right? Regular 2x4s, and they're going to rot away really fast. And I was like, Gail, why didn't you use pressure treated wood where it touches the ground? He goes, I'm going to be dead before it rots out anyways, right? And I remember thinking like, he's right.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, he's older than I am, and he has a different perspective on things of the importance of things, right? Now that's a really simple example, but as I get older, I'm realizing like my tendency is to have a business idea, and I'm going to push into it as hard and as fast and as much as I possibly can. And everything else is going to go to hell.
Sure.
My physical fitness.
Yeah.
I'm going to gain that 6 pounds back. My wife's still going to be pissed at me. And my wife isn't always pissed at me, by the way, just sometimes. And
it's like 30% of the time.
But I'm gonna be all in on this thing, and that thing's gonna be rad, and it's gonna go super fast, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna be awesome. But at the end of the day, like, who cares? Like at some point, who cares, right? And I think a lot of us would be better off if we just chilled out a little bit, took it a little slower. I keep reading. I have read Ecclesiastes like 6 times now.
I know it's funny because most of the time you'll be talking about Ecclesiastes, but then you come back and you start quoting like, today I was reading my Bible in Ecclesiastes. It's like,
I've read it like 6 times. I'm reading it again right now because I lack what it says to do in there.
Sure.
Like hardcore, I don't have the perspective that I should or that I think I should. That Ecclesiastes has of like, yeah, I can work really hard towards these things and I can toil under the sun to this extent. But then at the end of the day, when I'm on my deathbed, like, what am I really going to care about? That I toiled on this business for 20 years and got it to this point? Probably not. Is that fun? Yes. Is it enjoyable? Yes. I'm probably going to care more that I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
But if I'm toiling on it so hard that that it's not fun anymore, or I miss to take the time to enjoy it,
right,
then I'm missing the point, right? If I'm striving and pushing and trying to do these things, but I forget to enjoy the time I get to spend on my patio drinking coffee with my wife in the morning, talking to my wife, because my brain is somewhere else. On my deathbed, those are the things that I'm going to wish I did differently.
Sure.
Right? Because I can toil for all this stuff, but the reality is I'm here on this earth. I live a very, very, very blessed life. I have so many things to be thankful and grateful for, and yet I forget about them every day. And I just want this thing to push forward faster, or this thing to make more money. Or
if only you could do this, then I could do this.
I'm always living in the future.
Oh, yeah.
I'm never in the present unless we're on this podcast.
Thank God for this podcast.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. I think those things are important. Like having, and the reason I brought that up is because you talk about younger people, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think younger people get caught up in, especially in today's world with social media and all the entrepreneurs on there, and entrepreneurship is becoming cool.
Yeah, it's becoming the pathway to success.
The hustle culture is becoming cool, and all they think about is, being a successful entrepreneur and making money. And once they get there, then whatever is next, like then they'll do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Then I'll be grateful. Yeah. Then life will be good. It's like, dude, life is good now.
Yeah.
If you're a 20-year-old and you're like got a job and you got friends, and even if you got, you got your own apartment, even if you're living with mom and dad still, life is good, man. If you stop and take a second to think about and ponder all the things that you have to be grateful for and thankful for, you can just enjoy so much more. I think the level of joy in your life will go up dramatically.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
I talk to your son about this.
Yeah, because
almost every week.
He's the same way.
He is the same way.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Your son is very black and white.
He's
Like,
super black and white.
And I think it's because he's also young. And so it's fun to talk to him about stuff because I hear the youth coming through about certain things. Because I remember, it reminds me, it's like, man, I used to be just like this, so principled, so like it's this or this, and I would never accept this because it doesn't align with this. And it's just like, I like talking to him about it. But each week, we typically come back, I'm like, hey, Costin, like, you need to practice being grateful. Yeah. And intentionally practice it because it is a practice.
It is.
Like, especially when life is not exactly what you'd want, but you have opportunities to make life a little bit better, but those opportunities are just lame. Like, let's say you have to get a second job just to like make it happen. That sucks, but you still need to be grateful that you have the opportunity to even do that. And to just like, even if you don't believe it, it's like, man, you just got to practice it. Because eventually, and I know this personally, having done that for a long time, that eventually it's a lot easier to sort of walk through life grateful for the opportunities that you do have.
Yeah.
And it allows you to not be so bitter when things aren't exactly how you'd want them to be.
When times are bad, you don't care as much.
No.
When times are good, you don't care as much.
I think you
just have this like overall enjoyment of life.
You just kind of, and again, it's like the world is black and white in there's certain things that are black and white, but typically the right path through the world, what I think is you have to occupy this tension between both sides. Like when you're growing a business, you have to pay attention to your business, but not at the detriment to your family or your health. So you have to occupy this tension between, do I put 110% of my attention into this, or do I maintain a maximum amount of attention while still being in balance with the rest of my life?
Yep.
And you have to pay attention to that all the time because it's really easy to get pulled one way or the other.
Yep. So there was and I think you're right, people do get pulled one way or the other, and very few. And I hate the middle road because that's my brother to a T, and he drives me nuts. And I don't like the middle road. I would say there's a balance. I would say there's not even a balance.
Let me clarify really quick.
Yes.
Because the middle road is, when you describe the middle road, typically what that means is that they're in a place of no tension.
Yes.
That they are just walking into the middle because the middle is easiest.
Yes.
I would say the middle is the worst.
It's disgusting.
Well, because all the middle is an abdication of responsibility. You're saying, hey, I can take responsibility and go right or left.
I don't know what that word means, but sure.
Well, it means that you're like you're choosing not to make a choice. So you're just staying somewhere because it's safe.
So this is my brother to a T, and I don't mind saying this on YouTube because I argue this with him all the time, and he would tell you the same thing. He intentionally goes down the middle because it's easier.
Yeah.
Just like you're saying. He's like, now I don't have to piss this person off or pick this or piss this person off or pick this. I'm right in the middle, man.
Yeah, I think
I'm like, dude, that's gross. Like you gotta be somewhere.
So
like, you gotta have morals and values and thoughts and opinions about something.
So when you say that, the image that comes to mind, like if you walk on that path, you think you're in the middle, but that middle is slowly curving towards somebody else's direction.
Probably.
But you don't know it. Like if you don't have any opinions, then you're going to just think of the people, you're going to think the opinions that make your life the easiest, which means that you're going to be curving towards their perspective instead of what you actually think is true.
Yep.
So when I say tension, what I mean is that you have to occupy a space of tension, which means that you're constantly aware that you're being pulled towards one end. And you're saying, I feel that pull. I'm going to use that pull for what I need to. But then I also feel this other pull, and I'm going to sort of use this pull. And I'm consciously like holding fast between like these two ideas.
Yep.
And I'm trying to balance them. It's an ebb and flow a little bit. Like when Christ talks about like the straight and narrow, he's not saying it's the easy way. He's putting it like it's hard. Things are trying to knock you off this tiny little path. And so I would say that to stay on a path that is very narrow, you have to have a tension of balance between almost opposing ideas.
That's just life.
It is life.
Yeah.
But I think if we recognize that, and we recognize that it's not just this or this, it's usually somewhere in between these two things.
Yeah.
I think we're better for it.
So I read a book one time. It was written by a lady who took care of elderly people before their deathbed. And she walked through like the most common regrets and I don't remember the name of the book, but it was a good book to read. Nobody regretted not working enough.
Right.
And nobody regretted not making enough money. They all regretted, every single one of them, not spending enough time with family or spending too much time worrying about making enough money or spending too much time at work. So I think there's two kinds of people. There's the people who are like, I'm all in on business and I'm going for it. And then there's the people who are like, dude, business takes too much of your time. It's too much investment, and I have to sacrifice my family and my health and my morals to do business. So I'm not going to go there. I think they're both wrong. I think you can push forward in business and you can still live a really good life outside of it.
Yeah.
And I think you can find a lot of joy and fulfillment in both of those things. It's not easy.
No.
But it's really fun.
Yeah, most good things aren't easy.
True.
And
hey, let that be a lesson. Like, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
fine.
but oftentimes that thing that you're missing is the thing you've been avoiding.
Yeah.
And you're avoiding it because it's hard.
Yeah, or scary or uncomfortable.
Scary, hard, uncomfortable, something.
Yeah.
That's usually the thing that you need to work on the most.
Yeah, or just go address it.
Yes.
And this is not just business, this is personal.
And here's what typically happens. And I said this to some people yesterday, and they were like, oh, yeah. And I'm just going to tell a story. I was on a job, and we were putting in new boilers, big boilers in this, it's actually just one giant boiler in this weed grow facility in Fairbanks, Alaska. And part of, we had to put this bigger boiler in this building because they were pulling so much cold air from outside to give the plants to recirculate the air for some reason. Because of the lights.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Something to do with the lights, the heat the lights produce. They have to have so much air movement in there. And then they need to be able to heat the room back up quickly when the lights shut off or something like that. Right.
Just telling you. Hard to do everything.
So
can't even grow weed in Fairbanks.
So we're putting this massive boiler in, so they have to upsize the chimney going through the building. Well, it goes through it. The boiler's on the bottom floor, and it's a 2-story building, and both floors are like 10-foot lids, and then there's a huge attic space, and so it's probably like 40 feet of chimney, and the general contractor, it was their responsibility to pull the old chimney and put the new one in. And then we could pipe in the new stack on the boiler from the boiler to the chimney. And we were waiting and waiting and waiting. And we were going to the general contractor being like, dude, when it was just a dude that owns a business. And we were like, dude, when are you get that stack in so we can get this boiler fired so we can test all our stuff? And literally after 2 months of hassling him, he's like, man, I've been putting this off forever. I really don't want to do this. It's going to be a giant pain in the ass. We'll probably be done in a couple days, but we're going to start that chimney today. They were done in 2 hours. And he comes down and he's like, dude, I've been putting that off for so long. And I just imagined it was going to be so hard. And then we got it done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was so much easier than I thought.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, usually the things you're dreading. So this, in my mind, and in my experience, the things I think are going to be easy usually end up being way more difficult, right? So I'm looking at this business and I'm like, dude, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's so easy. We just got to do X, Y, and Z.
We just got to do a couple steps and
boom, millionaires.
Bam.
Done.
We'll make $1 million tomorrow.
Man,
right?
Can't wait. I already bought my beach house.
Then 5 years later, we're like, dude, we haven't made any money yet.
Yeah, wait, what's going on? Why is it so hard?
Yeah. But then the things that I'm like, dude, this is going to be such a pain in the butt. And then you get into it, and it's just like a piece of cake.
Or it's completely what you didn't expect. It surprises
way
you.
Easier.
I've had a lot of there's a lot of phone calls. I'm like, I don't want to talk to this person because I think they're going to be the way that they're going to be.
Yep.
I call them up, and it's like a wonderful conversation with a result I never anticipated.
And you would have been so much better off if you didn't wait 10 days to have that conversation. If you just would have picked up the phone and gave them a call. Yep.
And then you just do it.
This happens to me with paperwork. And it's like, crap, man, I gotta file all this paperwork and blah blah blah, and then it's like I gotta click a couple buttons and sign the thing and send it off.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that was really easy.
Like, dang,
Right?
I put that off for like 3 days.
Dude, when I first started my business, I didn't know how to get a business license. And I put it off for a long time. I did. Like I would have started way earlier, but I was like, dude, I gotta get a business license.
That sounds hard.
And I gotta get like insurance and workers' comp.
Who do I even talk to?
And I got the license paperwork, and I was like, I can not have workers' comp for myself. And
There's a lot of words on this page.
so finally I Googled like business insurance. I saw there was a insurance broker. I called them up, and they were like, oh yeah, and took my details. And I think like 2 days later I had a business license. It was they sent me the paperwork. They sent me the insurance and bonding paperwork. I filled out the paperwork on the internet and I clicked a button, and then it was like, "Bookink, here's your business license." I was like, whoa, that's like piece of cake. Silly. If I just would have like
you
got into it. Anyway, you could see those things all over the place.
Yeah. So like, and I mean, really, I think the moral of the story is if you guys have this thing that you're really putting off, like, and it's subtle too, because when this is my experience, what happens is I'm like, I see the thing on my calendar and I'm like, I got to do that. And I'm like, well, before I do that, I'm going to take care of some other high leverage things. And then like you start moving around, you know,
I'm going to pick the easy things.
Yeah. Like I don't really need to do that today. That's like more of a tomorrow thing, honestly, like thinking about my life. Like,
I'll just check my email.
Yeah. Those are the things that indicate to you that you need to do that thing.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't just business. This is life. If you know there's a thing that you should either start doing or quit doing, then just do it.
Dude, you want to know a secret hack to like just get more done?
What's that?
Just delete social media off your phone.
Yeah, no.
Just get rid of it. Turn your phone dumb again.
I would say what's important is to not just delete it, because you need to put something in that space. Because I think what happens is people I'm a cold turkey a thing, but they don't put anything in that space and they
work.
Well, let me finish.
What do you mean?
So they cold turkey a thing, like I'm going to get off social media.
I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm a cold turkey quitter.
Okay, I'm just saying that
I'm really effective at cold turkey quitting.
I would agree. I think you are effective.
I cold turkey quit smoking. Long time ago. It's about the only thing I cold turkey quit.
Dude, man, you're a good cold turkey. My point is
Maybe I'm
it's
not.
like, because what happens, and this is what happens, is people will cold turkey something like social media, and then they don't have any like thing to do to fill that time. And they'll cold turkey for a couple weeks and then they'll regress and they'll go right back into it.
But you have to like actually download.
They do. Easy peasy. I've been there. So I think it's important that if you're going to cold turkey something, you have to have a reason, not just to get rid of it because you know it's bad.
Yeah.
Like say, I'm going to cold turkey. So for me, it's like I get out of social media so that I can read more books because that's important. And then now I read books, and then instead of social media, I get to read more books.
We could argue that.
The point is there's something that goes there. It could be work, it could be fitness, it could be exercise, it could be spending time with your kids.
Yeah,
the important thing is
with
to
something
like,
productive.
yes, don't
other
just
than
quit it to
reading
quit
books.
it. Yeah, whatever. You're so full of it. You're so that's it. I quit.
The
That's
thing.
it.
Hey, whatever, man.
Okay, I want my job back. I unquit.
Okay, whatever,
Oh,
man.
whew, that was easy.
When I was stuck in the Dallas airport,
Yeah.
and I'll go sit down, and I'll just look around. I put my phone's in my backpack when I travel. Like if I could travel without anything, that'd be great. When I'm sitting there and I look around, the people standing in line waiting to get to American, they're on their phone.
Every
single person
It's a
sitting
scary
down
sight.
is
It's a
on
very
their,
scary sight.
They're all sitting there with their head down on their phone.
Completely enslaved. Completely
it's
trapped.
So weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys looking at?
Anything
What?
that isn't something that's boring.
Yeah, what?
Anything.
Like get up and go walk
They're watching
around.
your TikToks. That's what they're doing.
Dude, if you guys spend more than a few minutes a day watching my TikToks,
They're watching this
you gotta
podcast. It's like 2.5 hours.
You got to quit doing that.
Yeah, see, that's
The
like,
podcast, I understand. Like it's informational. You're learning stuff.
yeah, but if you're just scrolling TikTok or whatever, doesn't add any value to your life.
My phone gets used for calling people and occasionally texting people.
Yeah, when you remember.
When I remember.
Yeah.
The only other thing I like about my phone is that all my emails go into my Gmail app. So if I open that one app, I can scroll through and not miss any of my emails.
Yeah.
Instead of on my computer, I got to go to
3 different browsers.
3 different emails.
Yep.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yep.
And I hate email. I hate text messages with a passion.
I mean, I think the people who are going to actually be successful people, and we could even say successful business owners, the easiest way I would say to do that is just don't let your phone distract you, because everybody's letting their phone distract you. If you're just of that 1% that says, no, I'm good on this.
Do you have notifications on?
I do.
So like when you get a text message, you get a ding.
No, it's always on vibrate. What I do is I just try to like flip my phone on its face and then I put it out of reach. And then I just...
The reason you can never get a hold of me is because I don't have any notifications on. So if you text me, I don't know it until I look at my phone.
Yeah.
So Costin was over here the other day. We were working on some videos and junk. And we're working on his computer, and he keeps getting notifications.
Yeah, just
and I see him. He's like working.
Yeah,
and then he looks up and he's like, I'm like, dude, turn that crap off. Like you, and he's like, no, I just looked at it and then went back to what I was doing. I was like, yeah, but how many times a day are you doing that? You're probably wasting like 30 minutes a day.
Dude, I listened to a really good podcast about that.
Yeah.
And like, there's a study that says like that.
How much longer do you sit on the toilet if you bring your phone in there?
Oh, like a million times longer.
Yeah.
Depends on how long, whatever video I'm watching.
Why would you do that to yourself?
So the podcast, I was like going back to that notifications thing. It's like the time span that the average American like desk computer worker goes uninterrupted is like 4 minutes. Like they'll get interrupted by something every 4 minutes.
I would go insane.
And what happens is like, because every time you're interrupted, your brain has to recalibrate. It's got to restart.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And so like, if you can just take away all those interruptions and do deep work, like Jared, I think why you can accomplish so much is because you just do deep work naturally.
Yeah.
You just sit down, you're like, I'm going to go to work.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go film 40 reels really quick this morning.
I'm the kind of person the fire alarm can be going off and I'll ignore it.
Yeah, because you're like, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
They'll either just come get me when they get me.
Before we end this podcast, here in a few weeks, we're going to get a new office. And I say a few weeks, could be 2 weeks, could be 12 weeks.
A few times,
yes,
with a multiple.
But I have made my decision about how our office is going to be laid out. We're going to have one big table that all of us work at. I'm going to buy everybody Apple headphones, which, have you tried the Apple headphones?
The over the ears?
Yeah. The noise canceling in them. And I haven't tried them myself, but my GM says they're awesome.
Yeah.
So he's like, he wore them on the plane. He has a pair, and I was like, dude, those look rad. He's like, these are the nicest headphones I've ever owned.
It's funny because your GM was not an Apple guy.
He was not an Apple guy.
I know.
We changed
now
him.
he's a blue bubble bro.
So everybody's gonna have Apple headphones, so they can tone it like
so they can focus.
So they can
focus. Deep work.
But I'm gonna have a stick.
Oh, fuck.
That will reach across every single person. So if I need something, I can snap you on the head or something.
I'm gonna have my own stick so I can smack your stick out.
No other sticks allowed.
No, I'm gonna get an aftermarket stick.
I'm the only one.
I'm gonna smuggle it in under the table.
Maybe we can get fishing poles and we'll put like a gummy thing on the end, like a gummy hand.
Oh, how about a gummy hand?
Yeah, those sticky hands,
like on your monitor. Flick. And then,
No, it's going to be a big table. So you're going to need a fishing pole with a gummy hand. You'll be like,
I'll get a custom made gummy hand. I'm sure there's some badass gummy hands out there.
Probably. We'll get some wealthy plumber gummy hands.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming soon.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm excited.
It'll be super dope.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Your marketing's going to suck if your business sucks.
yeah, pretty much. The moral of the story is if your business sucks, it doesn't matter who you hire for marketing.
And if you suck, your business is going to suck.
And I would also say that marketing is hard. If any company is saying that it's not hard and we're going to give you all these things, I would say maybe, but probably not.
True.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Dude, see ya.
See you, Holmes.